All right, welcome to the Princess Mafia show. It is Tuesday evening at 9 p.m. Eastern, but where Zen is, it's actually in the morning. It's at like 8 o'clock there where you are?
10 a.m.
10 a.m., okay. And so welcome to the Princess Mafia show. Of course, I start every show with a little bit of what the Princess Mafia show is all about and the Princess Mafia is all about. In case this is the first time you're watching us or catching the replay, and me and my comadres, my cohorts, my partners in crime, we are all in the same internet-based company, but this show is more really basic business-based and mindset and personal development and law of attraction and that kind of thing. And it all started with an event that we were all at, our company event, and we were all sharing a room, and Yes, I snore. And Zen, who's in China now, was my bedmate. And the next morning, she smacks me up the side of the head like an Italian mama would. And she said, "You snore, you princess." And I said, "Hey, princesses snore." And she started calling me princess. So then the next day, I wore a fedora hat because I love hats, especially fedoras. And she said, "Oh, that looks so cool. It looks Mafia." And I said, "That's right, Princess Mafia." Well, then we found out that all three of us really love everything about the Mafia. We love Mafia movies. We love Mafia quotes. We love just, the history of it. We all have some sort of like connection to, maybe, the history of it or whatever. And I don't want anybody to get whacked because we, ousted a story that shouldn't have been made public. But so anyway, and we all have the basis of our business is not just to help women over 40 create extra income by doing a business online, but we also have a love for, the way to get there is through personal development, practicing the law of attraction, and proper success mindset. And so the Princess Mafia show was born. And so that's what we do every week. We have fun with Mafia music, as you can tell, and just, kind of sometimes we tell stories, sometimes we talk about movies, but most of the show is going to be something that's going to help you with either personal development, mindset, law of attraction, or some sort of success strategy. And so welcome to the family. And later on, we're actually going to have a guest who is also in our same company, but her backstory has a lot to do with what we're talking about tonight. And so she'll come on in a little while, about halfway or so through the show, and I'll tell more about her as that happens. But tonight's topic is something that's near and dear to my heart, and I'm so glad Nancy actually suggested it as a topic, because sometimes I just have a brain freeze and can't think of a good topic to talk about. And so she brought up, what about your passion and making it a priority in your life. And for me, that is so important, especially to our broader audience, which is women over 40, because we tend to put ourselves on the back burner. We've got kids that take our time up. We have maybe a husband or a significant other or friends or somebody else, maybe an aging parent, that all take up our time. And as women especially, and in that age group, we just tend to say, I need to be there for them. I'll take care of myself, tomorrow, the next day. And really what happens is that you don't really get full joy out of your life, because at least personally, I think to truly have joy in your life and to be happy is connecting to your inner self and being happy with who you are and celebrating the passion that you have in whatever it may be. It may be something like art or music, or, I have passion for both of those things. But the reason I got into this business, well, first, it started out is that I wanted to create extra income to really make a better life for my family. But on the back end of that, and has become more of a bigger part of my business, is passion about women's self-esteem and the issues that they have with, not taking compliments because they just don't think well of themselves, and also not putting themselves first. And I just strongly believe that, yes, our children are important, our spouses or significant other or our friends are important, our parents are important, but if you don't make yourself a priority, all those things are kind of going to go to the wayside because you're going to be empty. You're just, it's going to be okay for a while. You're going to, kind of go on. But after a while, you're really going to start to feel like something's missing in your life. And so I really think that making yourself a priority helps you be a better mom, be a better spouse, be a better friend, a better daughter, a better person in other people's lives, because you put yourself first and because you're taking yourself as, important, that you are important and you need to take care of yourself. And obviously tonight we're talking about the part where you prioritize what your passion is, and not only to either make it a bigger part of your life, but you can also make it a business to where you teach other people, you talk about you talk to other people about what you're passionate about, or you reach out to people. When I talk about being bullied when I was, from grade school up to actually adulthood in my jobs, that is going to reach people who are also, they feel they're alone because they don't understand, hey, it's kids that get bullied. Well, no, there's people out there that are in, just like me, that are in the job force or in the, employee situation where they're getting bullied by a boss or by a coworker, or maybe they're being bullied by a neighbor or something like that. And so not only is the passion great for me, but it also makes me feel good that I'm helping other people cope with what I went through, and I can teach them how I got through it and became more self-aware and better self-esteem, and just a stronger person, to where, I won't ever go back to that situation, but if I was in an employee situation, I don't think that stuff would happen to me anymore, because I'm a different person than I was then. And that's the part you have to take ownership of, is that everything in life starts with you. So that's, kind of what I want, my 2 cents of what I wanted to talk about passion, is that you do need to make it a priority. It's your passion. There's a reason why you're passionate about it. And so I'm going to actually turn it over to Nancy, since this was her kind of brainchild to talk about tonight, and have her say a few words and wisdoms to us. So take it away.
All right, thanks, Linda. The whole topic, prioritize your passion. Actually, there's a couple different facets to it, but before I go into that, I kind of wanted to give you a little bit of my backstory here. It seems to me, now that I look back on my life, that I always I always kind of held the importance of when I had having a job, that it was very important to make money. Okay, and you know that's a great goal on the top side of it, making as much money as you possibly can. But for some reason, I totally lost the whole idea of what I love to do. I didn't think that what I loved to do could make money, or that it was good enough to be able to earn a living from. And I don't know where I got that message from. I have no idea. I don't know if that's kind of like a society thing that, oh, you know, you're being a little frivolous by thinking that, you know, you could make a living from cooking, or you know, or reading, or you know, doing, you know, anything that is fun. Okay, because fun and work just don't equate. And like I said, I don't know where I got that message, but I did. So I went into the job world looking for jobs that where I could earn a lot of money, and honing some skills for myself that would get me into that job to make that money. And I got into the graphic arts field, which I ended up loving anyway. I absolutely love that field because it's very broad and it's very creative, and I never realized how creative I was. And I took that whole idea of making money into my life, forward into my life. Fast forward, I met my husband. My husband is a logger. He has a logging operation. And when we got married, I decided, well, I'll help him with his logging business. I cannot tell you how miserable I was for so many years because I put what I wanted to do on the back burner. And I couldn't understand why I was unhappy. I couldn't understand it. And it ended up being, for me, and it ended up being a horrible experience helping him in the logging industry. But that's his passion, and it's something that he loves so very, very much. But it wasn't anything that I liked. In fact, I despised it. But, you know, he liked it, and I have to take charge and let people know that your priorities are important. People are going to walk all over you. The people that you love dearly will walk all over you because they don't know they're walking all over you, because for so long you made their priority your priority, or their passion your passion, I should say. Okay? Prioritizing your passions, I see it as kind of it can be two separate subjects. The word passion, for instance, defining what your passion is. Sometimes when you say the word passion, I don't know, sometimes I kind of get that glazed look in my eye like a deer caught in a headlight. It's like, oh, what's my passion? What's that? You know, what is my passion? You know, and I think the word passion is sometimes overused. I think it's important to look at what you like to do. Things that you think about. I heard somebody make a reference. I thought this was so cute. Somebody made reference to, what do you think about when you're sitting in the bathroom? You know, I mean, just kind of, you know, because you're you're completely relaxed when you're in the bathroom for the most part. So what do you think about when you're in the bathroom? What do you think about when you're just sitting and just chilling? What do you think about when you are just kind of playing around on the internet? You know, what do you gravitate towards? So that's important to think about those things and write them down if you're looking for what your passion is. And don't spend too much time wigging out about that you don't have a passion, and you don't have a goal, and you don't have a priority, because you do, okay? And when you do find out what it is that you like to do, start hanging around with people that have the same interests as you do, no matter where these people are at, even if you have to volunteer. Maybe if you find what your passion is and you want to make money at it, sometimes you can't be real picky in the beginning, because in order to live a badass life, you've got to put some badass action into it, okay? So that means sometimes doing things that you would never think about doing, like volunteering, or doing something that, maybe not for that much money to begin with, because what's going to happen is you are eventually going to hook up with the people that you need to hook up with, and every person or every event is a stepping stone toward that passion and that purpose. Okay, and that's important to really look at that. Find a way to monetize. Think about how you can monetize what it is that you love to do. Okay, so again, it might be that you have to volunteer doing something. It might even be that you have to help somebody else out, that is doing what you're doing. So you just never know when that break is going to come. So I think that the passion part of it, defining what your passions are, or just what your likes and dislikes are. I mean, even knowing that is important. I mean, for me, when I lost myself in trying to find a job that I thought that I should be doing, or helping my husband with his business, and I completely lost who it is or who it was that I am, you know, um, that wasn't right either. So, sometimes you got to do what it is that you don't think that you're going to do at first, or you should be doing it first to get to where you got to go. So, and it's all a process. So that's about all I want to say on that subject. I'm going to hand it back over to Linda or to Zen, whoever wants to carry on.
That was great. And that actually reminded me, I was trying to think of where I heard this story, but I actually heard a story of someone who, and I was racking my brain if I read it somewhere, if it was someone's personal story, I don't remember. But, if your passion is, I've always wanted to own an ice cream shop.
Mm-hmm.
You may, even if you're in your 40s, you may want to go, work for $8 an hour at a 31 Flavors, or, some local ice cream shop, to know the ins and outs of what it takes. Because here's the caveat. Sometimes what you think you're going to love doing, you may love as a hobby, but you might not love it as a profession. And I found that out as a cake decorator. I took cake decorating classes with a friend of mine who was actually teaching. She's a Wilton certified cake decorating teacher, and she was really great, and we had a great friendship, and she taught at a local Joann's Fabrics store. And so I took her classes, and I took every one of them, like from beginner up to like working with fondant and stuff like that. And I loved doing it. But if you've ever watched Cake Boss, there is a huge stress in getting the cake constructed. And because there's a difference in making cupcakes or a 9 by 13 and doing like a structured, sculpted, decorated cake. And so, once you got it done, you need to keep it the way it is from then on. And it is a huge stress to keep that structure in place. And so I actually was having anxiety attacks, and it became very clear that this is something I want to do more as a hobby than as a profession. And so you have to think about that, and you may have to sweep floors or do the minimum wage kind of job at some place that's similar to what you want to do. If it's, like I said, an ice cream shop, or maybe you want to, own a Mexican restaurant, or maybe you want to, own an embroidery shop like I did. Probably what I should have done before I jumped in is worked at a place that did embroidery and saw the ins and outs and how you get, customers in that. it may have helped with success, or it may have helped me, do I really want to do this and invest all this money? So that is a great point, is sometimes you gotta you gotta do the things that you might not want to do to learn whether or not it is your passion, and how to be successful at it once you decide to monetize it. So I am now going to pass it over to the lovely Zen, and hear what she's got to say.
Hi, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yeah? Okay, I'm going to assume that you can hear me. And I'm going to throw this out. When you're over 40, you need your readers. So I've got notes based on what you guys were talking about. And I'm going to tell you something. One of you is going to be wearing cement shoes, because I was probably sleeping when you decided to switch it up and talk about passion, because I wrote notes because of this. Passion is what you like to do. And I'm assuming that we all took Linda's consideration there of testing it out first before you jump in the waters if you're going to try something totally new. Although, if you have been contemplating while you've been in that bathroom, maybe you already know what you like to do, and you just don't know the avenue to get to it and pursue it. But I want to show you something first. This past 2 weeks over here in Shenzhen, China, we've been celebrating the Lunar New Year. So that means you get a mulligan on starting your new year. And this is a Chinese, what I call the VIG packet. Okay, they give these out to people as bonuses or extra, I don't know, you could call it bribe money. But here's the, I don't know if you can see it. It says Princess Mafia VIG. Okay, so you two need to fill my envelope if you're going to change the topic. Okay, but I'm going to stick on the topic that we sent out to my list. So if you're here from my list, hi, we're still talking about how's this make me money? Or are you swimming with the fishes? So how am I going to bring around the wise guy stuff to swimming with fishes? Well, I'm going to tell you, because law of attraction is a funny thing. And I want to demonstrate for you one thing, because there's an interesting thing about saying law of attraction to people, because people even say, oh, I don't believe in that, or that's ethereal, or whatever it is. So I just want to tell you something. It's actually kind of the universal laws of magic, okay? And it's at play in everyone's life, whether you believe or not. Because here's the deal. Whether you're metaphysical and you believe in, tuning up your chakras or whatever, and that is based on belief in you, the universe, and the unseen, okay? All those yous, okay? Intellectuals tend to think that that means it's positive thoughts. Happy, shiny thoughts mean happy, shiny people. And, that sounds like you need some thought police constantly on guard for yourself, okay? Because negative thoughts do come up. The reason being is because many years ago in our subconscious minds, it was in action to keep you protected, okay? We were chased by wild animals long ago, okay? We had to have that look over your shoulder kind of built-in mentality. So your reptilian mind, your limbic brain, still throws those things out there at you as obstacles now, because we don't have to hunt down food or anything anymore. We can go to the grocery store. We don't have to do any of that stuff. So you have to be really careful how you approach that. So one of the things about it is it's actually universal, kind of magic at play here, okay? And you could play with that energy, that magic, those thoughts, and you can call it whatever you want, because this is not based on religion or atheism or any of those things that come into play. Like I said, you can believe in it or not. It doesn't matter. It's still at play. So why not play with it and move your magic around in the manner that you want to move it, okay? So there's two things. You can go general or you can go specific. And the problem with, and I posted it on Facebook the other day, when you are super clear on what you want, not so much as a goal, but your visual of what ideal days, and I call it days, not one day, because I want every day to be sort of different. That's my goal. And I want it to be planned either in advance or not at all. So my ideal day shifts, and I want to have the ability to do that. So when I go general, I'm thinking of how I feel. I'm not thinking about what that day actually looks like. It's how do I feel during that day? Do I feel hurried and rushed? No, I don't want that. I want the opposite. So, you can do that, and then you can hone in on the specifics, which are the words that give it action. Okay? So, listen, words are very, very powerful. I don't know if you've seen these YouTube videos or if you follow this kind of stuff, but if you are an intellectual and you happen to be watching, there are YouTube videos about water molecules responding to warm, loving words or responding badly, negatively, and taking on a different molecular structure when spoken to in a negative, abrasive way. Think about that. Because we vibe out all this stuff. So when you're speaking to yourself, to other people, at large, that's also one of the universal laws, the law of oneness. So that's why I mentioned religion, no religion, atheist, not an atheist. I don't care what your belief system requires of you. This is about oneness, and it works in conjunction with that in terms of your vibrational energy. So whatever you're bringing into play, it's not so much about the success that you're focused on. It really is about playing to your strengths and what you like and what you're good at and what you can share with other people. So one of the things about deciding what you want to have in your life is it really is a decision. Do I want joy? And nobody sits there and goes, no, I'd rather have pain. So I'm going to lay these out for you. Joy, pain, fortune, poverty, health, disease. No one sits around saying, yes, I want pain, I want poverty, I want disease. But they also don't buck the system, okay? Now, I'm over 50, but I say to my friends, to anyone who listens, and it's not about being in denial about my age. It is about being in denial of, or in favor of, doing it my way. I don't have to buy into, because I'm over 40 or now I'm over 50, that I have to be any specific way. The truth is that women, generally speaking, unlike men who follow usually one professional track and have a family and don't have to think too much about balance, women tend to every decade have to reinvent in some manner themselves. And so, sometimes we end up getting the pain by accident. We end up in poverty by accident. And that's why I'm saying, be decisive. And this leads me to, because you have to decide what you want to have. And this leads me to, and I talked about this when I used to be on the tilt panel a lot, and it's called Set It and Forget It. But rather than making a request to the universe about what you want, you make it a demand. There's no whining involved. There's no polite requesting involved. You make a demand. I will be healthy over 50. I will make X amount of dollars in the next year. I will, whatever it is I will be in Bali for 2 weeks in May, let's say. Whatever you throw out there, you demand it and you set it and forget it. It is done. And act accordingly. Act accordingly. Okay, that's really important. Now, when you do make a demand, not a request, a demand, don't dwell on the specifics. Don't get all honed in on it's going to go this way, it's going to go down in this timing, it's going to happen my way. No, let all those how-tos go. That's not your business. The universe will start conspiring if you set it and forget it. It will start bringing the right people, the right timing, the right feeling inside so that you go, yes, I'm going that track. It may not be the same how that you planned. So allow for flexibility of how it's going to go down. The universe is on your side. It's working for you. And just remember that if you don't set it and forget it, and this is the downside of law of attraction, I'm going to give it to you straight in the face, okay? Because that's the way it is around here. It's a family. We disclose our secrets to the family, and you're part of the family now because you tuned in, okay? If you don't demand and you do not set it and forget it and believe it is done, and The timing is out of your hands. The how is out of your hands. And let's say 30 days down the line, things look a little shifty. It's not quite going in the direction how you planned it. If you shift at that moment to, things aren't going down how I wanted them to go down, you are going to negatively influence how the things go down from there. Do you understand? Because that will start to bring up feelings and thoughts of fear, anxiety, and all those things that produce a negative outcome as opposed to the one that you set forget when you made the demand originally. Okay? So if you need to zip back and listen to that again, make sure you catch that clearly, because that is the most important part about the demand and the set it and forget it. It is done. And I'm going to end right there. And one of you is going to be wearing cement shoes about the passion thing, okay? Next time, hit me up in a private message and let me know, okay? Anyway, listen, I'm going to hand it back to Linda because I think we have a special guest. So,
we do.
Send it back to you, my girl.
Okay. And, it really, what you said fit exactly with what we're talking about anyway. Law of attraction works with whatever. Yeah. But I didn't want you to think we changed it and didn't tell you. It was okay. Because I don't want Louie knocking on my door.
No, I was totally keeping on you too, Gumas. Totally.
Okay, I'm sending. I'm sending Beth the note to come on.
All right. I'm going to mute myself and find an outlet to plug in my computer. I am with you, then.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so as soon as she gets on, our special guest tonight is a friend of ours. She's a friend of the family, so you need to treat her with respect. And her name is Beth Tomasovic, and one of the reasons why I brought her on is, well, first of all, I'm so very proud of how she's blossomed in the last couple months, and just really, kind of took her business to the next level. But her backstory has so much to do with what we were talking about tonight, with, making sure that it's not just it's multifold. It's making whatever your passion is a priority in your life and finding a way to monetize it, because that way you're doing what you love and you love what you're doing. And as long as it's not something like my whole cake story where it wound up not being a good thing for me as a profession, but she is her family, her husband, and no, she's not on. No. She and her husband own a greenhouse in the same city that I'm in St. Louis, Missouri, and it's actually a family-owned business. It started with either his parents, or it might have been even farther back, I'm not sure, but definitely owned by his parents, and then her husband took it over, and his parents are still around, and so she's working a lot of hours helping her husband, like Nancy was talking about with, when she got married and her husband was in the logging business, that she thought, oh, I'll help him with that. Well, that wasn't a great experience for her. The thing that Beth is going through is that she loves the business, but it's not her passion. She loves helping her husband because, it's a way for them to spend time together, and, she knows that it's taking stress off of him because she's helping him, but it's still not her passion, and she sees how much time it's taking away from their personal life. And that's one of the reasons why she decided to join, and do an internet-based business, because she saw the future as being as this business giving her more time. It may take more of her time right now, but it's going to give her more personal time down the road. Hold on, I'm going to mute myself and I think that was my fault. I think I gave her a viewer link and not a panel link. So hopefully she'll be able to get on in a second or two. And and this is one of the reasons why I love going to events.
Hey, there you are.
Oh, yay! And so I was just kind of telling a little bit of your story on why. Maybe not why you started with the business that you're in, but how it's turned out to be that you see a future, that you can take this business, and although it takes more of your time right now, you see the future as being it giving you back more time for not only you, but eventually your husband, if when the parent, not that we want the parents to go anytime soon, but when they do, you're better equipped to make a decision of, do we go part-time? Do we sell it? Do we still continue what we're doing for a few more years? And it gives you opportunities. And so I wanted to bring you on so you could personally tell us kind of that whole process of, that I know that in the past you were kind of like a serial network marketer. You just kind of loved doing network marketing. But I think you're in a place now where you really have a passion for what you're doing, and which is what we're talking about tonight. But it also answers a lot of struggles that you had in the beginning. So why don't you tell us just a little bit about that kind of transition, I guess.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Well, thank you for letting me be on this wonderful Princess Mafia hour. I think it's great. I tune in when I can, and you guys are just great. You really are. Yeah, I do. I work full-time plus in our family business, and I think Zen really hit the nail on the head that it's time for me in my life, and I'm over 60, so I'll go ahead and say that, but it is time in my life to make a demand, and to set it and forget it. I love that because that truly is. It's taken me this long because I think as women, as you said, Linda, we as we go through our different stages, our different decades or whatever, we get married, most of us, and we do have kids, and those are our priorities, and that becomes our passion during that particular decade or 2 decades. And your spouse or your significant other is also your parents, whatever. Those are all priorities and all passions, I think, for women. We've always been pulled in 50 million directions, I think, as women. And so I'm finally to the point in my life that it's time for me. And that is what I'm beginning to learn. I think it has to be a learned type of experience too, because when you've done this all your life and provided for others and put others before you, then you put yourself on the back burner. I think you really have to start to reinvent yourself, and that's what I've been doing with this business. And I'm getting myself to the event. We have an event here within our system. It's actually April 21st, 2nd, and 3rd, 4th, and that happens to be one of the busiest times of the year for our family greenhouse business. And so I asked my husband. I'm still learning, so I asked him. I didn't demand. I asked him if it was okay if we could go. And I was surprised that he said yes, to be honest with you. So I'm going, and I feel really good about that. And yeah. So, and I think when you put your passion, when you finally figure out what your passion is, and you put that in front of you, then, like somebody said, I don't know who, it might have been you, Linda, that you start to attract, I think it was actually Nancy, you start to attract those kind of people to you, and it just flourishes, and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And so that's where I am right now, is I'm I'm putting my passion out there, and really having fun. And like you said, I've done a lot of network marketing businesses, and they've been hobbies, all along throughout, because I had to please the other people around me. And so my kids are grown now, and I don't need to please them anymore. And I don't need to please my husband anymore. He'll be pleased enough. And I think part of it is that we're together all the time too. So getting away from each other is really good for both of us too. So so anyway, that's, yeah. I don't know what else to say. You all do a much better job than I do, as far as.
Oh, no. Well, you know your story better than anybody else, but I want to talk a little bit about the time thing, because we kind of touched on this when you were on the Success Roadshow. I'm also on that with my friend Eli, and had Beth on for this same reason, kind of telling her story. But I know that there's times, especially in spring, that you are working 70 or 80 hours a week. And really, not to put any labels on any decade of anyone's life, but when most people get to the age of 60, they are looking towards retirement, not looking for 80 hours a week, which
Correct.
is 2 weeks, two normal weeks in 1 week. And,
Correct.
and so, and I know we had, I know it was a struggle for you. I mentioned in my blog, actually wrote a blog about Beth today, and I mentioned in my blog that when we first got connected, we kind of knew of each other, but when we first started, getting to become friends and connected, we had a long conversation because you almost quit what you're doing, because you kind of felt like, I have an obligation to my family and to this business, and it was really a struggle for you to stand up and say, I want to do this for me. And I try, when I'm being like in a, not that I'm her mentor, but when I'm in a mentor conversation where she was asking me for advice, I try not to say, well, don't quit, that's dumb. I don't want to put what I feel on her. So I asked the question, well, what are you doing for you? I know this is a priority, but for you, and it's important, as I said in the beginning, about my son's phone's like buzzing, so it's making me crazy here. But
if you wait a little bit, my cuckoo clock will go too.
All right, woo! I love when the cuckoo clock goes. And so, but even though, as I said at the beginning, that yes, your family and your spouse and your kids and your parents and your friends are all some sort of a priority in your life, but you have to put yourself first in order to you can't help anybody else if you're empty. And
Good point.
If you're being drained because you're not making yourself a priority and making yourself happy, then you're just becoming more and more of a shell and less of a support for the people that you're trying to make a priority. And so, and I think that really helped in that you took some time to decide what was best for you. And that's when your business really started taking more of a priority of your time, and your business started flourishing. And I think it was at that point, and I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but I'm trying to kind of put the pieces of puzzle together for our audience. I think that was the time that you really saw, if I put in the work now, I have that option of more time later.
Absolutely.
Which is really what you wanted. We all start this, any business, whatever it is, we happen to all be in the same business, but we all start a business to make money. But it's not long that individually you figure out it's more than the money. You know, it's time freedom, it's the love of changing lives, of helping other people, and that kind of thing. And I think the light bulb went on where you were like, well, yeah, it started out, let's make some extra money, so maybe we could take a nicer vacation or, you know, something like that. And then all of a sudden, the light bulb went on to where, you know, if I really do this, once it comes time, we have more of an option than to just work until we're 80. You know, and I think that's what everybody wants in life.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there. You know, and I am really, really busy right now, and that is exactly why, because I can see in 2 years, 3 years, I'm not putting a time frame on it because I'm just not going to do that right now because I just love it. You know, so if I have to work 100 hours a week, then that's just fine because I'll do that. You know, I mean, it's fun for me, and that I think that's important too. Is you have to have something fun to do. So yeah, I work. I work a whole lot of hours in the springtime, but I figured out on my business, my network marketing business here, that I've got some things that I'm putting in place so that it will be on automatic, so to speak, when I do get really, really busy, and so that's and I'm trying it out for the future on that. All these little things that I'm doing is going to be for the future. So just trying it out as far as having it automated, I think, you know, we'll see what happens, you know. So yeah, it's an amazing thing.
That's awesome.
So it's not about the hours, you know, like you said, it's not, but it is for the future, because I want to be able to do the things that we love doing, you know, simple things, going out to dinner, going to movies. I see my friends retiring and they're saying they don't have enough money to do this and they don't have enough money to do that, and that's not where I want to be, you know. So this is why this is really, yeah, it was about the money at the beginning, but just what you said, you know, it's not. It's about the community now, and yeah.
It's money and time freedom.
Absolutely, Zen. Absolutely, time freedom is of essence at my age now too.
I just wanted to interject one thing. You know, because I travel a lot. Obviously, you know, I live in Shenzhen and I do, you know, family visits and other things, and have to be on planes regularly. And one of the first things that always happens when you get on airplanes, and if you think about it, it's helpful in the reinvention of the female, because one of the first things they do is talk about that drop-down oxygen mask, right? Put yours on first, and then help everybody else, including your children. Right?
Yeah.
So put your own oxygen mask on. Meaning,
fantastic. Great
metaphors, then. That was excellent.
Yeah.
And you know, and then be done. Set it and forget it. I'm glad you like that, Beth. Because
I love it.
Set it and done. It is done. Let the universe handle how and it's helping you by helping you figure out how to automate certain things, and you'll tweak that and learn how to fix that up so that it works for you. And
Yeah,
God bless
and I
you
think
for
whenever
putting in
you, yeah, whenever you start any business, an online business, network marketing, whatever you want to call it, home-based business, there's a learning curve to begin with, and I think that that's where and Linda, I don't know if you knew this, but I did quit. I did quit this company once, and then I came back because I saw that I didn't give it enough time. That so you have to do that. So I mean, and I think the people that treat it as hobbies, that's what they do. They jump from one thing to the next without learning. And so I know that I've got to put this many hours in right now to learn this business, and I've learned so much. It's unbelievable. I'm not technology at all. But man, I know how to blog now. I know how to set up things. It's great. So, but anyway.
Well, one of the other things that we run up against in any business, but particularly network marketing, direct sales, or any of that, Beth and everyone actually, is that you'll always see people who knock it out of the park in 30 days, 90 days, and then you sit in the mirror and go, well, wait a minute, what don't I know?
Right, what's wrong with me? Yeah.
And that's the comparison game, and you can't play the comparison game because this is a part of the making a demand. It'll start to bring in the knowledge that you need to know, the people that you need to know. It'll start to bring all the things together. It's not done in your time, it's done in its time. Just know that it's done. And it may not even follow the plan of how you want to do it. But the time freedom, all that stuff that you're setting and forgetting out there, that you have time freedom and the money, it will occur if you just set that, forget that, and then take some smaller actions that are presented to you by the universe that you know you need to proceed and follow. And you'll adjust and tweak accordingly, because just like any ship getting anywhere, they don't just set the goal. They start to adjust to meet little different wind shifts.
Right.
That occur out there in life. And, like you said, we have kids, we have older adult parents, we have different things that pop up. And for the most part, women are held in charge of these things. And, if you can embrace it and just go, okay, I'm going to adjust the ship based on I need to work 100 hours a week during the next 2 weeks. Okay, well, you adjust the ship to do some automated stuff for your business, your passion. And then when you have a little bit more time freedom, then you do that. But the ultimate set it and forget it goal that you have hovering out there is I want time freedom and money, and I demand it. I will have it. Done. And so all those other things will start to come into play. They just do. But you can't waver in your belief that it is set, forget, and done. And that's the important part of the whole kind of, you can call it woo-woo. It is not woo-woo, because I know people who don't even believe in anything ethereal, who are very goal-oriented. But when they set that goal, the way they speak is that it is done. It's complete.
It's done.
There's my goal. Boom. That's all I want. And now they can be very mercurial by nature and push everything else off to the side. But the end thing is the same. It is in their mind, done. The goal's there. So that is the same kind of, so you can make it ethereal or you can make it intellectual, but it's the set it, forget it, make the demand, and then let the universe handle the hows while you take the baby steps of action.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Wonderful. Yep. I totally agree. Yeah.
I love your background there, Beth. You're very orangey, gold haze. It looks great.
Thank you. I love your girls' hats.
Thank you. I think we need to get her an honorary hat.
Yeah, I probably can find one.
They're at Sears.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Linda can set you up.
I know
Linda,
she can.
I think
she
you're
muted. You're muted, Linda.
Linda, she's part of the family. Set her up with the link.
Yes, I know people. And
Oh, you girls, I tell
what
you, you kill me.
what Zen said actually reminds me of a meme out there that I saw in Facebook land that I just loved. I think I shared it because I loved it so much. And there's that saying that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
Mhm.
Well, really, it's when the student is ready, they see the teacher. They are aware that the teacher's always been there, but they're
Right.
now aware that the teacher is there. And it's
Mhm.
the same with the law of attraction and set it and forget it, is that when you set it and forget it, have confidence that it's going to happen, and then be aware of the things that are happening so that you take advantage of those things. When someone offers you help, that is the universe's way of saying, here's some help of whatever it is, whether it's somebody to help you at your business, or it's maybe let me help you do some technical things so it doesn't take you 5 hours to try and figure it out on
Mhm.
your home-based business. And
Mhm.
so my point is I'm saying is that no matter what, whether it's a teacher or help, become aware of those things, and it helps allow the universe to get you to that goal even faster if you realize the help that's coming and not ignore it.
Can I
Like
tell
some.
can I tell a joke about finding the signs?
Sure, sure.
Okay, somebody told me this joke, and I thought it was very funny because it really is indicative about how we want really in-your-face signs. Okay, and I don't know, it's about a man whose house, the town is flooding, so then he's up on the roof of his house and he's praying, for to be saved, and a helicopter comes by and says, come on, here's the ladder, jump up, and he's like, no, 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 it's okay, it's handled. I already prayed, I'm going to be saved. Yeah, okay. The ladder's there. That's what was sent for you. Grab it, climb up onto the helicopter. So the thing is that part of that student becoming aware is start to see the ladders being thrown down from helicopters at you, because they're there. Sometimes we ignore them because we're going, oh, it should be coming from that direction. That's what I was talking about, the hows of the universe, because sometimes it's not exactly how you're expecting it. It doesn't come packaged the way that you are visualizing, because you just don't know what you just don't know. So when something starts to come, your way, or a person suggests something, instead of going, oh no, I'm waiting for the ladder from, from the sky instead of the ladder from your helicopter, take a look at it and see exactly what's being offered, and if it fits in with the demand that you set out there. Is it going to give me time freedom? Is it going to give me money? Because, how does this make me money also can be part of that passion, because we, until the currency of the land becomes love, and I believe it will someday, we have to live with some cash in our pockets, right? So,
Right.
so being passionate about what you do and how you help others get it too, because that's a very significant part of it too. When you make your demand and you set it and forget it, especially in the business that we're in, which is why we always say, come for the money, stay for the community. When you start to see other people come into their own and start finding, whether they stay with you or they start to follow other mentors and leaders, because everybody has something good to offer. The truth is that you help set the path for them. Whether they turn around and say thank you to you ever is irrelevant. You set a path for another being to come into their own. So thank yourself for that, because there are going to
Hmm.
be people who are going to become part of your team who are never going to say, oh, thank you so much, because they feel like they did it themselves. You were a stepping stone. Cool. Release that need, because the truth is that you got what you wanted out of it. You're following your passion, which is to make money, have time freedom, and help other people. Boom, you did it. There's no gratitude necessary other than that one that you give to the universe for yourself. Now, there are going to be people who are going to totally attribute everything to knowing you, and that's cool too. But realize that it's kind of an ego stroke for yourself, and it's not
Mm.
necessary. You don't need that in order to get your passion and excitement met for yourself. Try to remember that, because that's part of who you are at the core. Helping others means helping others and releasing that. And so that doesn't require gratitude, thanks, kudos, any of that. If you get it, great. And if you require it, I'm not putting you down for wanting it or requiring it. It's just when you set it and forget it and you keep it real general but specific, like time freedom, money, helping others, then just know that it's done and you've done it. And proceed. And be open to those signs from the universe that will help you get one of those 3 things. And you can have 5 things in there. You could say, I want to improve my relationships with my husband, my children, my ex, my whatever. And set it and forget it and just act accordingly. And guess what? Things start to conspire to get you exactly what you want, as long as you have set it, forget it as a demand, and believe that it is done. That's it. That's all.
Okay. I actually heard from, and again, I don't remember who it was. It might have been an old Amway tape or something, and the guy was a preacher. And I don't know for what religion, but he was a reverend or a preacher, and he said when you keep praying for the same thing, you're basically not trusting God. It's like you keep reminding God that you need this thing, like you don't trust that He's gonna come through for you. It's the same thing because to us, the universe is God. It's the higher power. It's just our way of expressing our higher being kind of way. And so it's the same thing. If you set it and forget it, then the universe goes, okay, she's trusting me in this, and she's demanded it. I'm going to get it for her. And so since it is almost 10 after 9, I think we should wrap it up. I want to thank Beth for coming on as our special guest.
Thank you, guys.
We may have to get her an honorary, an honorary sisterhood hat, and make her an honorary member.
On PayPal.
What?
I'm chipping in my $4. Get her a hat.
Okay, I'll get her a hat. You know what? And she needs to bring it to Nashville, since then you can't, with it being like a 95-hour plane trip, and you got to take four trains and 5 planes to get there,
to get to
and take out a second mortgage on your condo to
rickshaw
to get there.
Rickshaw, yeah.
Don't forget
So maybe Beth needs to stand in for you at the event as part of the Princess Mafia.
Yeah.
So
the tall blonde one. There you go.
I'll be happy to do that.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank everybody for joining us, and again, a special thank you for Beth to join our show and to give her story, which really matched with what we wanted to say. And don't forget to tune in on any of our Facebook walls. We will always put a link to how to get to us on Tuesday night. I'm a little tired. On Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, and I'm not sure what next topic's going to be. Hopefully, we can think about that wait till the weekend, because sometimes the week goes by and I'm like, oh, it's Saturday, we don't have a topic yet. But it all works out. The universe helps us in that way.
Yes.
So join us next week, Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, and until then, have an amazing week. Make sure to set it and forget it, and it is your choice to be happy. It is your choice to live your passion. Yes. So keep that in mind when you're, thinking about things. And we will see you next week. Thank you all for being on here, and we'll see you next Thursday.
Ciao, everybody.
Tuesday.
Bye, everybody.